BTC.
In two cases.
Hi, everybody. Sorry. How are you? Hello. Hi, and how are you? And hello. I'm here, I'm up and running, and I'm good. Hi, there we go. Now, headphones in, cats are taken care of, beverage secured. Drinking turmeric golden milk during the show today. No, that's not a sponsor. It's just a fact. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Glad you could be with me today. Hope you're having a great... What's today? Thursday? Yes, we start a little later on Thursdays. And apparently today, not late enough. It would be nice to be... have a little more time today, but here we are. And so much to do. I mean, how do we... let's just get into it. This part's gross. Just gross today. This is the part where, I think it's probably just triggering some avoidance, psychological impacts on my psyche, because I'm having to deal with the idea of looking into this goon's face. But I do think it's good that and this is sort of like History of the World Part 1. I doubt there's going to be a part 2. And if there is, it'll be basically the same shit. If this goes anywhere, maybe we're only seeing the left side of the screen in this episode and the other things are for the next episode. I don't know. This is the most egregious thumbnail in Rudy's history. So we will see. This is obviously from the depths of Rumble, but there you have it. Anyways, this is his top 10 stories of 2021. Let me guess. How many do we have any what's the upside or what are the betting odds on him suggesting that saying the hard drive from hell as opposed to the laptop from hell and sort of mixing those stories and forgetting which one he's supposed to say? What do you think the odds are? We'll find out. I'm excited to see it. The smile is creeping me out, and he looks. It is the one moment where Andrew looks like him. If I was Andrew, I would be sweating right now. Here we go. And this is probably going to have an ad right for it. Yeah. Here I am fishing.
Every veteran's mental health care treatment is unique because every veteran is...
And let's see. I don't know that there's a way to... No? Okay, we'll just cut it there. Keep playing. There you go. We'll get through it in the ad in just a second. Give me a second. It'll bring it up. Hi, everybody. Hi, chat room. Hello. Welcome. Thank you, guys. Hi. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to share and like and subscribe and all that stuff while the ad plays. And 3, and 2, and 1, and go.
This is Rudy Giuliani with Rudy's Common Sense.
Jesus Christ. Just say it, man. Spit it out. It takes me a while to say what I'm going to say at the beginning of my show, but I didn't edit it. This is all live. I'm doing stuff before I show up here. And at least I should... Hi, I'm Hal Sparks. Welcome to Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. I'm... Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. There we go. Is that better?
The episode today, or actually the episodes for the next 2 days, the next 2...
Oh, great. I'm glad. Yes.
For the end of the year will be about
why you and Kevin Sorbo are in the same hotel room for Christmas.
10 stories of the year, particularly with an emphasis on those that have a tail into 2022. In other words, those that we will be covering in 2022 and those in which we're going to have to perform what we regard as our special role, which is to bring you the information that isn't covered by the mainstream media, which is now a substantial amount. I selected these along with Dr. Maria Ryan, who played a...
Yeah, I selected these with the person who actually did the work for this episode. Sorry, golden milk's a bit spicy.
And some of the most successful of these, if not the most successful. And so therefore, this is our kind of joint selection. And we'd love to see if you have a different take on it.
I'm pretty sure I do, Rudy. I'm fairly certain I have a different take on it. It's a lovely way of putting it.
And you can do that at rudyscommonsense.com.
I can do that anywhere. I can do that right here at Hal Sparks Megaworldwide.
We're going to do it in reverse.
Thanks, 1524 Scooter.
Number 1 will be in the next podcast on New Year's Eve. But no,
why would you drop a podcast on New Year's Eve when you and your one viewer are both going to be hungover?
10 would have been the top story of the year. Democrats were hoping to be the top story of the decade. It was intended to do what they've been trying to do for 5 years, ruin Donald Trump. I mean, what are they, do 2 phony impeachments and 3 phony investigations. Well, this was just as exaggerated. And that's the insurrection of 2021.
Oh, I see. So the insurrection, that's the 10th story of the list, and it's all phony, and we all hoped it would be the way we would take down Trump. We were all planning, apparently. It's not just the FBI and Antifa and BLM, but apparently all of us, any Democratic voter, we're all conspiring together to get Donald Trump to gather his supporters in front of the White House and send them to the Capitol to be lunatics. Our plan would have worked too if it hadn't been for those meddling kids and their stupid dog.
January 6, 2021, the insurrection that was carried out without a shot being fired, without
Ashley Babbitt's family would like a word.
a gun being taken with them.
Without a gun being taken with them. Is that what we're gonna say, Rudy? That's where we're going with this? Hold on. Not for a lack of trying. Alabama man pleads guilty to parking truck full of guns and ammo near the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. See, he just couldn't get through. There was something was scrambling his phone signal. He couldn't tell everybody which truck to go get the guns out of, and they just left him there. Lonnie Leroy Kaufman is 71. He's from Falkville, Alabama, which famous for the sign outside of town that says, "Welcome to Falkville. Now go Falk yourself." He confessed to walking around Washington, D.C. with 2 loaded firearms on January 6th. He's been detained since his arrest on the day of the U.S. Capitol insurrection. So didn't bring a gun, mainly because the lack of coordination. And again, not for lack of trying. All of these assholes, we owe them a debt of gratitude for being, while attempting a coup, being the biggest fuck-ups on earth. Not a gun being carried anywhere near there. Okay, and not a shot being fired except the one that went into Ashley Babbitt.
That was going to be done with paper clips.
Paper clips. What? Is that a joke reference, or the fact that that's all they had on them was the idea? So the cops that were beaten with flagpoles that had Blue Lives Matter flags on them, that doesn't count. It's the fact that these guys had paper clips.
Pitchforks.
Tell you what, Rudy. You have a pitchfork, and I'll have a paperclip. We'll have it out. It will be completely unfair, and I'll still win.
Funny concept.
But you will be filed under asshole.
Look.
What?
The people who trespassed in the Capitol committed a crime.
Uh-huh. Yes, they did. And they intended to commit other ones. Hence the gallows. Hence the weapons, hence the heave-ho bashing in the door, hence the chipping a cop's spine, injuring 140 cops, blinding one in one eye, shocking one with his taser so many times he had a fucking heart attack. But they were really just showing their patriotism.
Who created a commotion in the Capitol committed.
It was a commotion. That's what it was. The Confederate flag being carried in our nation's capital for, which didn't even happen during the fucking Civil War when these assholes lost, happened on the day. But it was a commotion. It was a racket. They were being rambunctious. It was a bunch of hooligans.
The people who destroyed property in the Capitol surely committed a crime.
Uh-huh. Yes, they did. Don't call me Shirley.
But they didn't shoot anybody.
No, they were planning on dragging them out and hanging them, fucko. But they didn't shoot anybody. They trampled one of their own to death.
They weren't trying to take over the government.
Yes, they were. They just thought they had Confederates on the inside that if they overpowered and fucking hand strangled AOC and Pelosi, that MTG and Jim Jordan would have their backs with Ted Cruz, and they would just take over the fucking place. They thought they had orders from the president. They tried to take one of the cops' guns specifically. They were going to kill him with it.
They're going to take over the wealthiest, biggest, strongest government in the world with the biggest military in the history of the world without even bringing a single gun.
Yeah, that was the idea. The idea was that they were going to take over the Electoral College, send it back to the states, then the House would vote, and because there were more Republicans, states represented, there would be this kind of senating or electoral colleging of the votes in the House, and therefore they could just steal the election and hand it back because there's more, even though there are fewer Republicans, they represent more Republican states, and that since there's one each, they outnumber the Dems if you don't count the districts that have a whole lot of fucking people in them.
And then not doing anything afterwards to follow up on.
Yeah, they did do something afterwards. They went to jail, the ones that didn't skedaddle and run home. And some of those also went to jail. Fuck you, Rudy.
Can't you see that this is as phony and as wild a lie as Schumer and Pelosi and Schiff have ever engaged in?
What do you mean? They didn't engage in it. We all watched it on television, fucko. What?
I mean, some of them said it was worse than 9/11.
Yeah, it was. It was. Because 9/11 struck the Twin Towers and affected our economic system, but it wasn't a direct, they never hit the Capitol.
Worse than Pearl Harbor. Worse than the Civil War.
Well, no. Worst thing since the Civil War, insofar as at no point during the Civil War did anybody, hold on, why am I all jumpy? I'm going to move this piece of software around, see if it wakes up. At no point during the Civil War did anybody fucking carry a Confederate flag in the rotunda, in the fucking Capitol.
Do they really think we're that stupid?
Yes, Rudy, we all, and I think I can speak for everyone out there, we really, really do think you're that stupid. I don't know who the we you think you're speaking for is, because you seem to be filming this alone in a hotel room someplace, or being an asshole and filming it in the lobby, which is also, I wouldn't put, nothing is beneath you, so there's a chance you're taking up the business center doing this. But yeah, we all definitely, right, guys? General consensus, straw poll. Do we all think that Rudy is stupid? Yes, we indeed do.
But the worst part of this is...
Oh, the worst part. I thought the worst part was nearly killing police officers, blinding one, having one have his thumb removed, and a woman getting shot, charging through as she was attempting with others to kill members of Congress because her preferred candidate lost a fair and square election that you fucked with for months and still attempt to malign. What's the worst part? And if you say that you lost or that it was a rigged election...
the way they have trampled on the rights of the people who are alleged to have committed crimes on
No, they have not trampled on anybody's fucking rights. A bunch of these assholes who were violent went home. Judges were like, all right, do you promise not to murder anybody in a stage insurrection? Yes, I promise. All right, well, you can go home. Do I have to wear an ankle monitor? Of course not. Shit ton of those people went home. The only people who are still in the jail are the ones who were like, doing their best Charles Manson impersonation on their fucking bail hearing.
Some of whom probably did it. Some of them...
Yeah, but well, that's what a trial is for, fucko. And most of them would qualify for bail, except that they videotape themselves. At a certain point, we need another word beside alleged. If you filmed your fucking self doing the crime.
We didn't, but all of whom are presumed innocent.
Yes, but the presumption of innocence does not mean we let you just walk around from when you were caught to when you get a trial. Because some people can be trusted during that period to not do it again. Some people will tell you, if you let me out, I'll spill more blood. Well, then you gotta fucking stay inside. You're in the jail. I'm sorry. You gotta stay. You gotta go back to eating your, non-gluten diet or whatever the fuck. Sorry. Sorry, you gotta stay in jail. Why? Well, because you're here for sexual assault and you just said given half a chance you'd rape the bailiff. So you're not, no, you can't leave. But I deserve bail. All right. Some bail. Okay, how about this? 700 million bail, cash. Get the fuck out of here. You're not leaving. You're a danger to, you just admitted you're a danger to society. You're presumed innocent. We're definitely going to have a trial. But since you were caught in the act and you fucking filmed yourself and you're threatening all of your fellow Americans, presumably, we don't need to find you driving through Iowa with an AR-15 and a kill list, fucko. You get back to DC jail with you. Shoo.
To be when Republicans and decent Democrats had control of this country. They've been held in jail now for 10 months.
Yes. Many of them would have gotten out on bail if they had not threatened people.
Over the country, under Democratic mayors and Soros DAs and everyone else, we let everybody go free without bail. Except they're...
No, not everybody. You know what? There's a bunch of people, by the way, who probably should be in jail, who got out because DAs are being too lax about it. But I guarantee in those bail hearings, the person who got bail, who didn't deserve it, didn't go, fuck you, judge. If I could come across this table, I'd choke the shit out of you. And then went, well, okay, right. But granted, I understand you've been through a lot. You know, I release you on your own recognizance.
Well, there is a story that remains that makes it one of the top 10 stories of the year. And that is the murder of Ashley Babbitt.
No, she was not murdered. Fuck you. She was not murdered. She was trespassing in the Capitol. She was participating in the breaking down of a door while Congress was being evacuated. There were armed guards. She knew there were armed guards. That's not murder. That's suicide by cop, if anything. But secondarily, like, what's in her backpack, Rudy? Tell us the contents of Ashley Babbitt's backpack right now. What'd she have on her? Do you know? Do you know what she had in her bag as she was coming through that window? Any idea? Any materials, any firearms, any bombs, anything that could be used to kill members of Congress as the vanguard, as the first person to cross the line. And by the way, due to the fact that she was fired upon, the only person to breach that part of the Capitol. Do you know what she had in her bag? Because neither did the cop who shot her, and it was his job to make sure she didn't get any further.
I've been involved in prosecution more in my life than anything else, and I've prosecuted.
Well, just wait, buddy. Wait till you find out what it's like on the receiving end.
Some of the most significant cases of the 20th century.
Oh, you mean where you broomed the Italian mob so the Russians and the Chinese could move in, and then you magically became mayor? Weird.
I don't back up to anyone on my knowledge of prosecution.
It's been a while, buddy.
I saw that, which had to be 3 hours after it happened. I said to myself, this is a possible homicide.
Yes, hey, fucko, it is a homicide. When a person kills another person, that's a homicide. That is death by man. That's what it fucking well means. Of course it's a homicide, dickhead. Like the fact that he was just like, I buttress my legal knowledge of it, and I saw this woman shot on camera, on video, and I was like, this might be a homicide. A murder and a homicide aren't the same fucking thing. Jesus Christ.
And within a day or two, I podcast to you all the things ripping apart that false scenario by these.
What false scenario, fucko? We saw it happen. They bashed the window. The door was barricaded. There was a cop standing right there. She went through the window. She got drawn on and killed because there was a ton of people behind her. First of all, have you ever seen a fucking zombie movie? Because in a zombie movie, none of the zombies are armed. There's just a lot of them. And the person with the gun with 9 shots in it has very few chances to stop what's going to happen, especially in a circumstance like that.
Liars. But the thing that has to be investigated, not all the nonsense they're doing with this phony committee that can't get a single real Republican on it, which is illegitimate.
Well, that's I would say define what a real Republican is, because I would argue they don't exist anymore.
By the way, we know from the FBI it wasn't planned.
Yes, the cop did not plan to shoot Ashley Babbitt. She did not plan to get shot. She just thought she was under orders from the fucking president and thought she had the right to climb through a bashed window and strangle one of the squad or whatever the fuck she was going to do.
Except maybe it was planned by Antifa. Because if you go back to my podcast.
No, homicide is not the legal term for murder. Murder is a very specific form of homicide. Not all homicides are murder. When you investigate a homicide, you're not always investigating a murder. It may be self-defense. Self-defense still qualifies as a homicide, but it is legally justified homicide.
You'll see a text that outlines something like 200 and something Antifa members who were involved in it. And when you look,
200 some odd Antifa members were involved out of the 4,000 people. I guess if you're a maggot, what choice do you have but to follow 200 clear Antifa people? Follow me. What's with your Antifa flag? Don't worry about it. We'll sort that out later. Don't you hate the government too? Yes, I do. See, we're brothers in blood right now.
At this video I'm going to show you now, you tell me these aren't Antifa people. And then watch it carefully.
All right. Jesus, dude. First of all, fucko, blur shit out. What is wrong with you? I feel like I'm watching the Mike Huckabee Christmas special. We've seen this, stupid. This is I'm sorry. So she was following Antifa's lead, is what we're supposed to. Yes, the guy's filming it, right? What's this guy with the Spartan shirt? And this guy with the Gadsden flag? This guy wearing his Beast shirt? And so I guess the idea is that they must be Antifa. Look at all the neck beards, is the argument. Jesus Christ, Rudy. What the fuck is the matter with you? We've seen this. Christ. It's just gross.
Gun, and then there's a pause. And all of a sudden, a woman's body is held up, and she's shot dead.
I'm sorry. So Antifa held her up, and then they coordinated with somebody inside, here, shoot her. All right, now we'll all just film it. They just did that for fucking footage? What?
She doesn't have a gun. She doesn't have a weapon.
Prove it. She had a backpack on. What was she going to do with it when she got inside? Don't be an asshole. Don't plead ignorant. She was breaching a perimeter that was sealed, that was barricaded, while Congress was being evacuated. On a day when two people had left, somebody had left two pipe bombs in the morning, and they were carrying them around, wait for it, in a backpack.
The police officer has, as you see on the earlier videos, numerous police officers all over the place behind him. If that woman had jumped over, had been thrown over, because it looked like she was being thrown over.
No, it doesn't. Nobody picked up Ashley Babbitt and chucked her through a fucking window.
There would have been sufficient police officers to subdue her in 2 seconds.
No, they wouldn't have, because they're on the other side of the fucking door, dummy, which is barricaded. They were coming up this way to clear that area. They had not reached there yet. The glass had been breached before the cops got up the steps. The cop that was inside did not see that they were coming up and didn't know that they were coming up in time. And when she breached, he did what he was supposed to do. By the time the shot was fired, they came up and went, everybody get back. And that's what they started doing, was driving people away from that, because they'd been called in at that point. But they were totally outmanned. Oh, God. I mean, we've been through this.
If this had taken place any place else, if we had the slightest bit of fairness.
How about this, Rudy? How about this? You're in your home, you have a handgun, and people are bashing in your door and your windows. How many of them are you letting get through the window, Rudy, before you shoot? How many? Now put this in that you're in there, you've got a gun, or you've got security. You have Rudy Giuliani, you have personal security. And they're like, I can let one person through. It's just Rudy. Do you think that guy would still have a job? You think Rudy would keep that if he survived the attack after this guy was selectively? Oh, he likes blondes. She can come in. She's fine. What's in her backpack? Who knows? Zip boom.
Pelosi's Congress. If they had the slightest bit of decency, there'd be an investigation for homicide here.
No, there would not. And by the way, they did have an investigation. They always do after a police shooting. And it was clean. It's a clean shoot. We all saw it. Nobody shoved her through the fucking window. She wasn't dragged there against her will. She thought she was under orders from Donald Trump. She went to her death because he ordered her there. She believed she had a right to go in there and choke the shit out of one of the squad or help Jim Jordan, seize up the works of our electoral process so that Donald Trump could regain his fucking throne. She died because Donald Trump sent her there. Not because a cop did the baseline of his job, which was literally defend a barricaded perimeter.
And it'd be a tough case. Because
no, it wouldn't. It would be fucking easy. It already happened.
There's nothing she did that put his life in jeopardy. Not a.
Fuck, here, Rudy. Let me come into your house with a backpack without checking the contents. Now, I don't even mean the dude fucking harm. But I could, there are things I could bring in my backpack that would make it impossible, let's just say, for his podcast to operate for weeks on end. It would certainly blank a lot of hard drives. I could arguably make all the lights go out with very few elements in my backpack. Now imagine if I was a psychotic who was part of a group that had built a gallows outside your house, Rudy. Imagine that. Imagine if I was with a mob of 4,000 people who hate your guts, but in the group there were allegedly 200 people who think you're great. Who wouldn't defend your life, though, because you represent the government even if you're on their side and they kind of want it to go away anyways because they're basically anarchists. So they'll film you dying, but they won't step in the way. Not when they're outnumbered, 20-1.
And then you look at the way they cared for her afterwards. Looks like they wanted to see her die.
What? Is that what you saw? Where were they where was the triage, Rudy? It was a fucking mob. How do you get somebody who's been shot out of a room full of Trump supporters, jacking up every hallway, blocking everywhere? They tried to get one of the cops out. They had to take 3 different routes to get him out of the building when they needed help. The girl who died that was trampled, who took amphetamines or whatever the fuck, the maggot that got run over by her own people. One of the reasons why she died, they weren't able to revive her, is because they couldn't get her the fuck out of there. Because the doors were being knocked in.
Has to be investigated if we're going to bring this country together.
No, it doesn't. The whole country's not hinging on a good shoot from a cop defending a perimeter. Nobody is sweating this. No one.
We have 2 systems of justice in this country, particularly about murder. And
no, wait a minute. We have two systems of justice in this country, particularly about murder. The fuck are you talking about? I honestly don't know what that means unless he's still grinding over OJ or some shit. What do you mean, particularly about murder? Yeah, that's the one area. Not white collar crime. not Trump's tax evasion versus some fucking dude who owns an auto body shop who gets audited out of existence. No, we don't have two systems of justice when it comes to tax law as far as rich and poor. No. It's when murder is being decided. What?
So we will now put on a few excerpts. These are from episode 101, but this is contained in episodes 100, 101, and 102.
But really, this is an index episode? How long is this fucking thing? I'm not doing 27 minutes.
And I want to emphasize, it was done within a week. And it turns out now, almost a year later, that everything I said then is not only true, but there are more facts that corroborate it than I had available then.
These people.
Okay, I'm very excited to see this. We probably watched this episode when it happened.
Talking amongst themselves, and I was standing and listening behind them what they could do to make Trump's people look bad.
The number 9 story of the year.
Yeah. After the fact, maggots standing outside going, "That was not us. I were Antifa all over the place. They were like saying stuff. I mean, I overheard them saying, they should, here's a good idea. Let's dress up like maggots and vote Trump for 5 fucking years." And then
is the significant mental deterioration of Joseph Biden.
Oh, the significant mental deterioration of
I had to beat off
of Joseph R. Biden. The
de-engineering. People want other people to stop shooting and knifing people to death. Action replays in magnified fortune.
Legal, look. The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
Verona is in Italy.
To me, Corona means Italy.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
So we're going to get it going to a level that nobody can ever turn course on us. Nobody can ever change.
No, definitely not.
Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
The sand was loaded up with blood.
Right, that's a... Yeah.
For Iowa values.
You could say Iowa values, can't you?
For Iowa values.
Is that... I still haven't decided whether that was a brain fart, a real, like he actually is pooping.
For Iowa values.
You know what I mean? Like he just... When he just... It's coming out, and there's just no stopping it.
For Iowa values.
And, and he just made some soup in his drawers and kept talking.
For Iowa values.
We still don't know.
I don't read, obviously.
Well, cognitive decline being what it is, sure. And of course, no one is a better medical advisor than Trump.
I felt really good almost after taking it.
Some of these lines sound like lines Chevy Chase's character in Caddyshack said as a joke. You know what I mean?
I felt really good almost after taking it.
Compared to even the Joseph Biden who ran for president, which you then can compare to the Joseph Biden who ran for president back.
Rudy, speed it up a little. You're not making a strong case about mental deterioration if the sentence takes a fucking week to get out of your face.
Well, ran for vice president in 2012, and 2008 ran for president, then ran for vice president.
That would be 2007. 2008 is when he won. They won, and they became vice president. He became vice president in 2000. He was fucking hell.
And it is obvious.
Yeah.
to the whole world
Sure.
that there is a significant cognitive impairment
Is there?
that is interfering
Yes, we're all watching it right now.
with his ability to communicate, his ability to remember, his ability to make sense, his ability to put thoughts together.
Nice glass house, Rudy.
There's that has to be the reason why he's had so few interviews that aren't staged and orchestrated with names given to him. Compared to other presidents,
it's almost like he's got a history of having a fast lip and getting out over his skis and gaffing. So they decided when he became president to manage it better on his request. Because he's got an Irish temper and he doesn't put up with this shit very well.
Here, percentage of the numbers that Trump and even Obama and others had.
And yet, interestingly enough, fewer press conferences, more actual answers than Trump's entire presidency in like a year.
He often makes statements.
Yeah, he often makes statements like, maybe try drinking bleach and maybe put bleach in your lungs, gargle it or something, and shove a light bulb up your ass. If we can get the light in your body, that'd be great.
That give away the fact that he's an old man with an old man's mental deterioration. Things like, I was instructed not to take that question, or I was told who to call on. What president would say that?
I don't think he said either. The first one, I don't know, but the second one, I think you're just inferring from like him having his list and trying to organize the thing so they get all the important news people before he takes Ducey's question and it takes the whole fucking thing off the rails.
There was something wrong with him. Where he
basically his staff, basically Biden's staff is going like, look, stick to the list, and if you want to shit on Ducey in the end, you can take his question last, and that's usually what happens.
Around and can't remember the name of his Secretary of Defense.
I'm sorry, Leather Goddess. I'm sorry I brought up your the Irish temper. Fuck you.
Or as you remember during the campaign, he can't complete the Pledge of Allegiance.
No, what you're thinking is the preamble. Like he goes, you know the thing, because they rolled faster on the prompter, and he was like, all right, I'm on to the next point. I've done it before. I don't have to do it again. That hits the preamble is what he's saying.
Or he turns in the wrong direction and confuses his wife and his sister.
Did he? Or did he look over thinking they were standing on the wrong sides, and they were? And he went, my wife, who's... And they went, oh, my sister, sorry. There you are. Like, because he doesn't have eyes behind his ears. It's nice. The good thing, Trump always dodged this by just not giving a fuck about introducing anybody or making them stand off stage away from him and then dangling like a dickhead waiting for them to come up. But everybody wants to see Melania. Bum, 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 bum. It's like, And then when she talks, like, hey, she can talk. Look who thought she could talk. Did you know she could talk? She can actually. Yes, that's true. 5 eggs.
He tells us that he saw Franklin Roosevelt on the television, reading the comics. There was no television.
Yeah, but when he was young, he watched the film of it on television when they would play it later.
Franklin Roosevelt wasn't on television. And now, take a short break. How much equity do you...
Yeah. Now we take a short break while I sell cigars or try to scare you. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I see. That's what it is. And by the way, I don't know what, let's see, Four Freedoms. I'm not quite sure what he's referring to in here, but there's this just the only footage I came up with right away from FDR. There you go. First inaugural address. The like fireside chats. There's him reading stuff by his fireside chats. He meant radio probably when he was talking about it. Presidential. Here you go. C-SPAN. Closed caption recordings.
At web.com, you won't find.
It's very exciting. I don't want to see what I don't want to see. Apparently, what I don't want to see. Yes, we get it. Okay, skip ad. Thank you. What do we have here? Whoops, quit. I don't want to. Yeah,
A library built by popular subscription to house the archives, papers, and mementos of the Franklin D. Roosevelt era is dedicated to the nation by the President himself.
And this latest addition to the archives of America is dedicated at a moment when government of the people by themselves is being attacked everywhere. It is therefore proof, if any proof is needed, that our confidence in the future of democracy has not diminished in this nation and will not diminish.
Yay! Hold on 1 second, if I might. TV in 1921. Whoops. The first TV ad ever.
America runs on Bolivar time.
Yeah. Well, it was worth every penny, I think, honestly. That's all you need to know. I don't know what. That's what I like about old ads. They're not fucking around with a bunch of information. I'm riveted. Here it is, the beginning of television in 1941. Hold on 1 second, if I may. I was just a little boy when this first aired. I remember seeing this, Maggie in the air. Vincent Pelter. He was a good man, or whatever. He'd throw shit at you. That's where he got his name from. Boy, I remember when TV was live.
Crowds,
look at that.
Music, color, excitement. Who doesn't enjoy a football game?
My ex doesn't enjoy it at all. She says it's a bunch of men putting their hands right up under each other's keister, and she believes in conversion therapy. It's what broke us up.
You're one of the lucky ones able to get a ticket.
Oh, believe me, I got a ticket the other night, and I did not feel lucky. Let me tell you what I would do. Apparently, it is illegal to drive while intoxicated while contributing to the delinquency of a coal miner. Run up, everybody! Get there in front line, you sucker, everybody! Oh, you cheating son of a dog doodle!
But of course, if you're not, well, it's just too bad.
It is. It is oh, phooey. Why does I gotta ask this question? How come all time before 1978 sounded like this? Know what I'm talking about? You know that sound? You know what I'm talking about. Shit. This sound. Fucking everything back in that movie sounded exactly like that. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? You know what I'm talking about. This one. In between people talking in them old fucking movies, everybody was, yeah, the whole world was scratchy. Yeah, put on some music. It's weird lack of noise is driving me goddamn crazy.
Unless you happen to live in some parts of the country where, thanks to the newest marvel of modern science, television, you can just lean back in a comfortable chair in the theater or in your own favorite chair at home, relax and watch the game.
That's right. I don't even know the need to go stand in line at that place, get my ass thrown in the mud again, get all dirty and freezing, and I can eat my own roasted nuts at home. Now, the question is, can we find, let's see, Roosevelt on TV. There he is. Roosevelt on TV. There he is. Oh my God. Excuse me. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Rudolph, that we're about to watch Roosevelt giving some sort of a fucking chat on television.
White House, Washington, the President of the United States talks with confidence about Allied intentions and hopes.
The Russian army will continue its stern offensive.
I mean, no disrespect, but he fucking straight up looks like a lurch. That dude's seen some, I mean, that was a rough life. He was 27.
On Germany's Eastern Front, the Allied armies in Africa and Italy will bring relentless pressure on Germany from the south, and now the encirclement will be complete.
What? Spoiler alert! Is that how that works?
As great American and British forces attack from other points of the compass.
If you know what I'm saying, I've been attacked from a couple of points of the compass, and I gotta say, I have no regrets.
The United Nations have no intent.
Anyways, yeah, just for the record, this is Roosevelt on television. This is FDR. Hold on, let me see this.
Interviews that aren't staged and orchestrated with names given to them. Compared to other presidents, it's a mere percentage of the numbers that Trump and even Obama and others had. He often makes statements.
Yeah, you do realize he's only been in office 10 months, and it's been in the time that he's been in there, he's passed the largest rescue package in American history, the biggest infrastructure package in 35 years. And that's in modern dollars even. So fuck you. And we've got over 70% of the public is vaccinated. Sorry, is it do shit or talk shit? I forget.
Give away the fact that he's an old man with an old man's mental deterioration. Things like, I was instructed not to take that question, or I was told who to call on. What president would say that? Unless there was something wrong with him, where he turns around and can't remember the name of his Secretary of Defense. Or as you remember during the campaign, he can't
I don't know. That's a question for Tim Apple, actually.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
Again, the preamble.
Or he turns in the wrong direction and confuses his wife and his sister. He tells us that he saw Franklin Roosevelt on the television, reading the comics.
Oh, hold on. Roosevelt, let's see, on TV. Let's see. TV. Let's see if we can just find reading. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of Roosevelt on television. There's also a lot of his wife, too. A lot of, let's see. Yeah, Legacy of the Decades TV Network. There you go.
He guided the...
There he is.
Banks were failing. Farms and factories
can be preserved and made to work. But in order...
broadcast into living rooms all over the...
Let's see.
People wanted him to live. He thought he would live out his term. He was thinking this was the last term, this was retirement.
All right, there's tons of this stuff, but that's the idea. Like he was on TV.
Television.
There was no television. There was no television when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was president. Now, that's one of the miracles of modern American life, is that you can actually, let's see, British, that they would play these in movie house. Excuse me, they would play these in movie houses, but they would also play them on TV. But there was no TV. Also, again, who is deteriorating? If I know that television was invented during the life of Roosevelt, during FDR's life, and Rudy doesn't, and he's how much older than me? The shit. And then
on television. And now we'll take a...
That's good. So and now we'll take a short break to watch Roosevelt on television. All right, let me cut ahead through the ad, and this is him like, sign up and so I can steal your money, blah blah blah.
Inflation, spending.
Is this a rhetorical, physical move that works in conversation?
Economy and dependency, all rolled up into one, because they're all the same thing.
Are they? Guys. Inflation, monetary policy. What was it? What was the other one? Sorry, I can't skip back on this. Hold on.
Dependency, all rolled up into one, because they're all the same thing. A $100 value free. Go to home.
Oh, it's got the $100 value, which means you don't have to watch the rest of it.
HomeTitleLock.com. That's HomeTitleLock.com. Thank you for returning. And now we get to story number 8. Inflation, spending.
Inflation and spending are the same thing, especially if you're an economist. If you're spending money on stuff that's inflating, it's inflation.
Economy and dependency, all rolled up into one.
Economy and dependency are all the same thing.
They're all the same thing.
Sure. Yes. Spending and inflation and economy and dependency are all the same thing.
And this has been a disaster for our economy and for our people, because it affects every single one of us, from the richest to the poorest. Inflation is a tax on everyone because it costs more to buy things. And you're...
Derp. Okay, then the entire world is being taxed by supply shock?
Our value will go down if they continue to do this. Biden is spending like the old expression of John McCain.
A drunken sailor?
Drunken sailor.
Mm-hmm.
He's spending more than any president in the history of America.
Well, not even close to true. First of all, the rescue package being part of dealing with COVID, and we're still getting through that, and it's keeping the economy buoyed up. And also a 10-year plan for infrastructure that ultimately makes its money back is not spending like a drunken sailor. The Fed is buying fucking treasuries. Again, this is like this slapdash bullshit. You can tell like when dumb people watch dumb economic news that tells them what they want to hear, and then they relate it to someone even dumber. That's Rudy's idea of the economy.
He has either spent or proposed spending more than it cost us for the Second World War.
The Second World War, by the way, fought at a time when there was a lot fewer people and a lot less money in circulation. As a matter of fact, the size of our economy has doubled since 2000. That's right, $10 trillion to more than doubled. Because now it's $26 trillion. Current economy. In the last 10 months, because of COVID largely, and the impacts therein and people deciding to move out, and the decision by Biden to use taxpayers' money to loan money, which will be paid back in interest, so the taxpayer will make money if this actually works out, and it will, to have, and even if it doesn't, the cost of not having chips made in the United States is prohibitively expensive, even if it long-term costs more cash, or short-term costs more cash. In the long term, not having to go through another bubble caused by a Chinese crash of the like that we just went through, is worth it, right? And also, that shitty little thing, slave labor, that we would rather not use, that might drive, the cause of inflation. Yeah, getting rid of slavery caused a lot of inflation. Cotton was so much more inexpensive before the Civil War, and now, shit.
The last bill, this one that's $2 trillion, but it could be $5 trillion.
It's 1.7 trillion, fucko. And it's not going to be 2 trillion. It's going to be, over time, 20 trillion loaned into existence and gotten back. Okay? 20 over the course of the next 20 years, because there's an infrastructure bank. And you seed it with $50 billion. They can loan out 10 times that amount. They get that money back, and they get interest on it. That pays for other programs and is used it's technically a liability on the books, but it's a long-term asset. But it's not going to cost the tax, even if we lost that $50 billion full out, even if we lost the money put forward, it's still spent into the economy, and other people have to pay it back in bankruptcy court, blah, blah, blah.
Put us in a stratosphere of, we could have gone to the moon 40 times.
Yeah, but we don't have to go to the moon. We have to save our bridges.
The first COVID relief bill should have been only about 60 billion. It was something like 800.
Should have been like 60 billion. Should have been. You mean under Trump? After we had to go back and dip again to salvage, and then go back a third time. Does he mean the actual? Hold on. Package. Let me see if I hold on one second. These are too new, these articles. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I think it was Moody's. I want to say it was Moody's that did this, but it might have been. There it goes. Moody's Analytics. The Biden fiscal rescue package. Light on the horizon. President Biden's proposed $1.9 trillion fiscal rescue package, the American Rescue Plan, would provide a large boost to the economy. Hold on, let me blow this up for you guys. If passed into law, this additional economic support, whoops, too big. With this additional economic support, real GDP growth could be as robust as nearly 8% this year and almost 4% next, bringing the economy back almost to full employment by fall of 2022. By the way, it worked faster than that. Given the complicated politics of what Biden is proposing, It would likely have to be passed under budget reconciliation. It was, requiring only a majority vote in Senate. Even we expect the legislation that ultimately gets through the Congress to be no more than half the size proposed. Nope, got the whole thing through. Setting the stage for another fiscal proposal later this year, Biden's Build Back Better campaign agenda. One way or another, through this step or over several steps, we ultimately expect fiscal support to the economy under the new Biden administration that totals close to what was proposed Thursday. It is thus the impact of the level of support that we assess here. This is their whole, like, it's going to work. We need this. There we go. Hold on. Going big. Where does it say? Biden fiscal. What was in it? Where it went? Here's the whole thing as they were doing it, blah, blah, blah. Let me see. Tricky politics, right? Okay, there might be a chart 2, back to full. No fiscal support. This is how long it takes. Biden fiscal rescue. Here's where it brings it down. Whoop. Wake faster is the idea. And then with that, you make the money back that you lost in tax revenue during that time. Let's see. Local government response, stronger economy, tricky politics, let's see. Economic impact. Wait, I don't know if they said it in this actual article. What's in the composition, including many of the measures that have been made up in previous package. Financially stressed households will receive more unemployment insurance, food assistance, aid back rent, health care, paid leave. There's also a substantial increase in the child tax credit. Most costly is a plus up of $2,000 per person to the 600 economic impact payments or stimulus checks. That said, Biden's expansive fiscal policy proposal is good economic policy. The economy is far from full employment. Inflation remains well below the Federal Reserve 2% target. The Fed has effectively promised to keep short-term rates at the zero lower point until the economy is at full employment, which, by the way, it reached near full employment already. We're at 4.2. I mean, that's within your margin of error for just humanity. And inflation has been consistently above 2%, which is what they've started to do. They announced their taper. They announced the raise in interest rates in 3 stages next year. Rudy does not understand that because Rudy is stupid. And I mean that in the most pejorative sense.
Because there was money left over from the earlier COVID. The second COVID bill, a lot of it's not even being...
Yeah, but allocated for specific things. It can't just be... He doesn't have total control over that expenditure. You have to go back through the Congress for that. That's why you go back and you put through another bill, because the spoken for money and those other things, which, by the way, was loaned or granted into existence, and if it's not spent, it doesn't exist. This whole idea they're just printing money and handing it out. If they offer loans, that money is loaned into existence. The federal government loans it into a bank. The bank loans it out to people. If the people don't ask for loans from the bank, then the bank doesn't get it from the federal government and the money doesn't exist. It's allocated in monetary policy, but it doesn't automatically get created.
On COVID and the one that everybody likes that the silly Republicans voted for infrastructure is only 30% infrastructure. And now they got the big dependency bill, which they call Build Back Better. It actually is Make America Communist.
Is it? I didn't realize. It's MAC, not MACA, not Make America Communist again. That would have, I guess, McCarthy era stuff. It's MAC.
America Socialist. Would you like that better as a euphemism? Make America.
No, because neither is true. None of this spending is socialism. None of this stuff is communism. It is taxation with representation. It's what functioning countries in a modern world do.
How about make America dependent? Nobody has to work. And we're going to...
Well, no, that's why the UI stuff was over earlier, and the payments for student loans is going to kick back in. He wrote off $11 billion for people in like that are going to be first responders, or they're going to be nurses, they're going to be like crucial jobs, because the value of more of those people available to do the work versus that money that was sitting in there as far as what it costs the country long term, it's a better investment to free those people of their financial burden. But that doesn't mean everybody who went to fucking Wharton to be a hedge fund manager who's got $200,000 worth of debt should get theirs written off or not have to pay for it because they got a shit job at Moody's.
Like all the illegals to come over so they don't have to work here too.
What? Look, If the country was flooded with illegals, we wouldn't have any empty jobs.
I'm going to vote. All road.
No, you can't. They can't vote. They cannot vote. You can't vote unless you're a citizen. If you try to vote when you're not a citizen, you can't become a citizen.
Up into one. So we might as well call ourselves the United States of Socialism.
Why? Because that makes a thumbnail or some shit. I think I have tolerance for about 2 more minutes of this bullshit.
Luckily, one man has stood up against it on the Democrat side. All Republicans are against it. 60% of America's against it.
No, that's the opposite is true. 60% of America's for it, including 60% of Republicans are either totally for it or somewhat for it. Thanks,
Hopefully,
dude.
going to the new year, we can keep fighting it off.
Thank you, Mandy.
Or any remnant of it. I mean, to say you get this down to 1 trillion still means we bankrupt this country, create inflation of enormous amounts. Remember, this is...
No, it doesn't. Not even close. Honest to God, this like over-tightened fiscal policy based on like the premise that half the fucking country is farmers or some shit is nonsense. And the money that's going out is creating factories, which are creating jobs in stagnant states. That without that investment, without that money flowing through the system, these old factories stay shut down. Arizona's going to have like 7 chip factories in it within 5 years. They've already broken ground on 2 of them. There's 3 up and running.
President who told you.
Yes, Evo, good point. Build Back Better costs Americans $2 a day, period. You're right.
In March of this year, remaining year, this would be transitory. What is it now? Almost the end of the year. It's been 6 months of record inflation.
Because of gas and used car fucking prices. Guess what, by the way? You know how... I've got to do this. Hold on. No, yeah. I got time. Okay, all right. Remind me to, like at 6:15 is my absolute out. I just got a message. I got to do something at 6:15. Anyways, we'll just continue.
Your dollar is worth less, and it means you are paying 10 to 60% more for everything.
Bullshit. You are not. You're paying more for gas for a period of time, and that is going down. You're paying more for houses or used cars for a time being. But if you're not buying either one of those, the rent jack-up isn't happening across the entire fucking country. It's only happening in the areas where everybody's exodusing either, allegedly California, New York, or Illinois to go to fucking Texas. Austin is where the rents are going up, not fucking Seattle and Portland, liberal bastions and all this stuff.
Who caused the price of gasoline to go up? Mr. Cancel XL Pipeline. Do it.
That doesn't affect the fucking amount of gas in the... It didn't exist. We didn't grow another group of human beings during the... We lost people. People who would have driven. People who would have had jobs. People who would have used heating oil. They're dead now. Not just here, worldwide. There's less fuel being used. I mean, this year-over-year bullshit. I mean, we've seen this a bunch of times. There's one thing there's so many things I need to do. And normally we don't cover this dipshit. I think, wait, I have a better version. Yeah, here it is. This is Charles Manson Riley, Russell Bland, and this is called "It's a Big Club and You Ain't in It: How the Game is Rigged." And he's wearing triangles because they keep the 5G energy away. And he's got tattoos that have phrases on them that are very meaningful. And the pile of wood is back to being the same size as it was before. So yeah, this one we'll dive right, and we don't get to cover Russell that often. Well, we could, but often. It's just goofy, but it's indicative of a storyline that I'm seeing everywhere right now, which is the whole, like, it's the deep state, the Pentaveret is running the world. You know, the basically what you're about to see is this. No, wait, hold on. It's in here.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentaveret, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentaveret?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
So that's essentially what we're about to see. Yeah, that's right.
He has now!
Here you go.
Do things feel crazy to you right now? Do you feel that our whole culture is in an existential crisis? That's because it is.
Bullshit. Sorry, we're not. Largely, it's conversations like this and the idea that the world is falling apart that's making people feel like the world is falling apart, not the reality itself. To quote Bill Hicks when he was watching the news, like everything, war, explosion, death, murder, and you look out your window and is there shit going on in the world? Yeah. Are we recovering from a pandemic? Sure. But the only reason people think, oh my God, the world is so full of craziness is because dickheads like this are selling that for a living. His like channel titles, like the clickbait on his shit. Hold on. Let me see if I can, I'll bring it up again. Let's see. The titles and the images that he has on his site. Whoops. There he is. I'm gonna go to his channel. And remember how I was showing you like Johnny Bravo and that other dude who were like every fucking title.
Look, it's me, Russell.
Is this douchey bullshit? Here you go. Yeah, this is it. Yeah. It's Big Club and you ain't in it. That's what we're looking at right now. We'll see in a second. They'll stop at nothing. Australia's scary surveillance state. Get ready for the Great Awakening. This will be the end. I don't know why he's naked in this one, but thought the pandemic was bad? This is what's next. Fuck off. They want you sick. The real reason psychedelics are bad. Is democracy just enslavement with benefits? Holy shit. Fuck you, dude. Is democracy just slavery with benefits? First of all, you live in a monarchy, so go suck a frog's ass. This is nonsense. When you're done having a cartoon monarchy in your own fucking country, you can tell the rest of us what democracy is all about. Jesus Christ. Is democracy just enslavement with benefits? And then Merry Christmas, my funniest bits of 2021. Imagine comparing these two things. So anyways, this video is blank. It's 14 minutes of just this picture. The royal family are keeping what secret? I don't care. I don't give a shit about royals. McDonald's Christmas advert reaction. Again. Authoritarianism on the ride. New police state. That's more of this shit. Australia's scary surveillance. This is what's next. It's all, they're eliminating free thought. Billionaires play. And then Soros, look at this. He's already super Jewing. It's all wrong. They're showcasing the rich while... Showcasing the rich? All right. We were sold a lie. No wonder people are angry. It's all rigged. Government insider reveals. Like, fucking hell, get over yourself. Do you ever feel like the world is crazy? Like every image you see on YouTube tells you that the world is coming to a fucking end and has been telling you this for fucking years. Sorry, I should do this a little better. 1 second. Hold on. Here we go. Back up here. Have you ever thought that, that the world is a fucking crazy place, yeah? Oh, probably. Yeah, let's find out. Fucking hell. I think it's all a big conspiracy. Aliens and what, yeah?
Are at a point in history where we absolutely must change the world. It will not happen within the boundaries of the system. It will require...
No, you got to burn the whole fucking thing down. You don't think I've got all this wood stacked out back for nothing. I'm here to roast the bourgeoisie. Of course, not me, you. And I'm going to do it from the safety of my own thing. By the way, big tech is the enemy. We should all be living on a farm. And if you don't believe me, listen to my podcast. It's available on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. It's how I make my fucking living and promote my goddamn show.
A confrontation, hopefully a peaceful, non-violent.
Fuck off. What you mean? How do you upend the whole fucking system peacefully? What are you, Jesus? Like, I've seen fucking Jesus fixations, but what?
Confrontation. I spoke to existential analyst Luke Kemp, who's...
What the fuck? Wait a minute. You what now? You did what? You spoke to an existential analyst? The fuck is that? Like, how do you... I'm analyzing existentialism right now. Or am I? Fucking hell.
Researcher at Cambridge University who talked to me about the nature of this existential crisis, how corruption is only going to get worse, how inequality will increase unless there is an intervention, and how the system will never allow those interventions.
Hey, fucko, guess what? I got bad news for you. Worldwide, especially in Western countries, I know you haven't heard this because you don't want to hear it, because every time it comes up, you probably stick your fucking fingers in your ears. But income inequality is actually gone fucking down. And one of the reasons you talk about it is because it's something you can look at as sheer cash dollars. But if you look at lifestyle and what people actually experience in their fucking lives in Western countries, then the gap is fucking narrowing. There is no deference, but like food deserts. Still, the reason they're saying like income inequality is because the only way you can measure it, you get fucking free food in a way that would kept the king's court alive a long time ago, you cuntcha.
Stay to the end of this video so that I can get your comments and feedback on how we can...
No, well, first of all, just because you said that, I'm bugging the fuck out. How you like that? This looks terrible. I mean, really.
Develop this conversation that began...
Because I've got whiskers and it makes my nose look brown. I look like Russell Brown nose right here. That's what's happening. Oh, that's fucking terrible, isn't it?
On my Luminary podcast, Under the Skin, but we'll...
Don't fight the system by subscribing to my podcast. Fucking hell.
End, perhaps with global change.
What I feel like we've experienced it, and given the title of your job or area of research, at least, it feels like what we're experiencing is an existential crisis.
Yeah, and I'm not just using that word because it's your fucking job.
For me, it feels like a detachment from our MO and from our raison d'etre, like that we don't.
It's pronounced raison d'etre. It's a fucking French phrase. And as an Englishman, you shouldn't be quoting the French, you bastard.
Know what we are, who we are, or what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, we're like the little people of Stonehenge. No one knows who they were or what they were doing.
Anymore. That we're like sort of...
Oh, fucking hell. I did not expect, I'm very sorry, I did not expect... a United Colors of Benetton male model to be his existential crisis. This dude's existential crisis does not begin until his cheekbones start to fade.
Each blinkered, broken, atomized people that don't like that. People like like Mark Fisher, of whom I'm a great fan, like wrote, he perhaps didn't coin the phrase, it's easier to envisage the end of, the world than the end of capitalism, but certainly it's sort of a theme that he wrote around a lot. And
yeah, that's because they're both fucking dumb. The world's not going to end. Capitalism in some form is going to come around. And the description of the world economy as capitalism or socialism or Marxism or any of the things, those are all phrases drafted up when there was 1.5 billion fucking people on the earth and no cell phones.
When like sometimes there's when you say, people aren't even doing anything about it, you sort of cite the kind of...
Yeah, no, you're wrong. You're wrong, Russell. They are doing something about it. You yourself are doing something about capitalism right now. You know what you're doing? You're thriving in it, you bastard. Look at you in your fucking leather jacket and your cool shirt that you picked out because it's got a low collar and it gives you a hippie look, but it's got organic fibers and it's only available because people started demanding it using your fucking Sony microphone. and your Zoom fucking boom mic stand that you look through like 3 different kinds before you put it together. And you even got the Shure mic where you can plug the fucking cable straight into there. It doesn't even go into the mic because that's all chintzy and cheap looking. And you got your nice cushioned headphones and your fucking ficus or whatever the fuck plant that is in your nice Western country house and you're on the warm side of a bay window and you've never skipped a fucking dessert. You're doing a shit ton about capitalism, mate. You're living in it. You're wallowing in it, you fucking pig.
But which Mark Fisher would have said it's not lethargy. It's a kind of people have understood. Oh, you can't do anything. There's nothing you can actually do.
No, they're not. It's not lethargy. They're thriving in it, just like you are. There's nothing to fight against, you bastard.
So, what do we do? You as a...
What we do to, I noticed that I got a lot of wood and you're running out of books. Is there some sort of business we could set up?
Younger person than me, and me as a kind of a very slightly.
Right. I had to get rid of that character just because the weird lips on it were driving me a bit crazy.
A still handsome, vocal supporter of agitation, opposition.
Get a room.
Activism and a kind of optimism. What do we do? What ideas do you want to promote?
Here's one of the ideas I'll promote, Russell. You're fucking rich, mate. You don't live in a goddamn tent. You're not recording this on a fucking Zoom you got secondhand. Stop pretending. I mean, the joke I always make that I'm going to be the next Reverend Gene Scott and just kind of like retire to a country farm and have a bunch of horses and playmates running around while I sit and, getting fat in a chair with a blackboard where I read little sections and scroll it out on there. That's what he's really shooting for.
In terms of activism, protest, confrontation, and constructing arguments to oppose the kind of ongoing tyranny, just one example or two.
The ongoing tyranny. What fucking tyranny is either of these assholes ever going to experience? Ever. Or have they ever? Christ almighty, the ongoing tyranny.
Examples being, the surveillance state and the emergency laws that we've...
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a surveillance state. I feel like everything I say is being recorded. Shut the fuck up. The surveillance state. I mean, it's different for me. I'm famous, right? So I want to be followed around.
About already. What should we do? And what do you think are good fronts to fight?
Let him talk. Just ask your question. Shut the fuck up.
On issues that will galvanize people and bring people together.
So first and foremost, I think we should note that you are deeply handsome and your facial hair is certainly superior to my own.
My heart jumped when you said that.
Secondly, if we are...
All right, look. I know I'm adorable, but I'm not anywhere near the ass-gathering beauty of either of these two gentlemen in their prime. And the flailing ego here while crying about tyranny in and of itself is aggravating.
To turn the tide on these very strong, robust trends. And that's not just simply the use of emergency.
Yeah, you know what the problem is? Very strong, robust trends. Now, what causes a very strong, robust trend? Well, one of them might be that the public has wanted it for a century and has actively pushed back on any group trying to dismantle it, from the Soviet Union to the Nazis to Maoist China. There's a reason why it's not like 9 people making us live under fucking capitalism. Sorry. Get over yourself. The term capitalism literally means somebody with a head of cattle. That's how old these concepts are. Fucking hell.
And the kind of expansion of state capacity, but also deeper trends like inequality. One of my colleagues, Walter Scheidel at Stanford University, had this excellent book called The Great Leveler, where he tries to do an empirical exploration of how wealth inequality has trended over time. And his key and very compelling finding is that wealth inequality increases inexorably over time until you have a great leveler, which is a state collapse, mass mobilization, warfare, a bloody revolution.
Yeah, it has been that way until we had fucking phones and computers and there was a technological leveler where the introduction of technology to the average person's life has given them the equivalent structural intellectual capacity, if they choose to use it, of every intellectual that has ever fucking lived on the planet. And you know how I know that? Because these two assholes are using two computers and microphones to talk about it.
Or a pandemic. And there's only two cases where that doesn't seem to be the case, where you actually had a reversal of inequality, or at the very least a stagnation of it, and it didn't require these kind of, quite violent ruptures. And those were both Athenian democracy and also, I think, Sweden during the antebellum period. I'll have to check that. When you had...
Oh, you mean the monarchy? Another monarchy? Yeah.
Unions started to get represented within the parliament. In short, I think these are very deep and difficult trends, and so they're not going to be fixed just by, signing a petition online, nor...
Yeah, you're going to have... Hey, look at him smiling. Yeah, we're going to have to murder some people. Not me, obviously. I'm well-liked. I'm like, I'm like the softer, nicer version of Charles Manson,
By... changing who you vote for occasionally every 4 years. They do, I think, require very direct confrontational power. And I think this is why, for instance, in the UK, you've seen this really strong response since having things like Extinction Rebellion to actually try to curtail the ability to protest. The Crime, Sentencing and Policing Bill is in many ways a very revealing of what the state fears.
What, murderers? Arsonists? Looters and raiders. Gee,
So I do think that
why would the state fear that? Oh, because the state actually has as its primary goal the safety of the citizenry, and a city on fire is kind of counter to that idea. It's that the only reason they want to stop looting and rioting and arson is because they want to keep their grip on power, not because flames drift. Jesus.
And confrontation is probably the most necessary ingredient for trying to actually stop these trends. And one of the things I argue for in the article is...
excuse me, you haven't made the case that the trends actually need to be stopped. You might want to engage Mr. Existential Crisis in the argument that a crisis exists first, instead of we're in a system that needs marginal, constant gardening to improve it all the time. And when it's got gaps in it, we fix those and we continue to move forward, because it's not like we didn't have anarchy and fucking, small tribes before where everybody just retreats and gardens and bullshit. We had that. And a lot of us got stomped by the neighboring town that decided to have an army.
We need to try to pursue emergency emancipation. So when it comes to emergencies and when it comes to crises, rather than trying to give the government kind of more leeway and practicing this kind of politics of, well, you can't criticize the government during an emergency because you can't politicize the emergency.
Of course you can. And again, this is probably around vaccines or some shit. Criticizing the government, saying vaccines should be free. I think they should be everywhere. I think everybody should have access to them. And I don't necessarily agree it should be mandated, but I will criticize the public on that side for not getting it. But these are that's not the same thing as going, drink some fucking horse paste. The government is lying to you, because that's what Russell's talking about.
We should do exactly that. We should actually demand more government oversight when these crises occur. And we should demand more involvement on behalf of citizens. And I think ultimately, the key goal here should be to try to reform our democracy towards what's frequently referred to as deliberative democracy. So rather than having a representative who's picked...
I don't know that he likes that. I don't like this deliberative idea. And again, I don't know, this guy's an expert in being in an existential crisis. Does he list who the fuck this guy is? His wealth is... Luke Kemp, no? Elites are taking over. Our only hope is to form our own. To learn more, join my cartel. RussellBrand.com/join. Oh no, he's tracking everyone. For meditation and breath work, go to my side channel where I pretend to be a fucking hippie. Football is nice is my free weekly full-length podcast. Again, this guy is rolling in capitalism. And yet, at the same time, like, ooh. It's like he, Jimmy Dore in his $1.4 million house, and Hassan in his $2.5 million house are like the three horsemen of anti-capitalism.
Every 4 years, you have a sortition or lottery across the entire citizenry. You have them picked. They can have either an assembly or a jury in which they're briefed by experts, and they make the policy decisions. And that both...
I see. So forced political servitude. Basically it's political slavery. Sorry, mate, you're mayor right now. I know you had dreams. Jimmy Dore is an asshole and has promoted more murders with his bullshit than almost anyone else on TYT.
It helps to control any corruption because, if you're basically only in office for a very short period of time and you're anonymized, there's really no one to lobby per se. And we also know...
Yeah, because the average person, given the reins of power, will just automatically find morality. Just spin a fucking wheel. That's what we'll do. Hey, oh shit, it landed on Dershowitz. Can we skip it? Nope, sorry.
When you get citizens together and you give them good evidence and you give them the chance to deliberate, they actually come to remarkably good decisions. Their political judgment is actually very, very good. The problem is whenever we do this, we frequently just discard what they say because they tend to actually say things and recommend things which are going to be effective in terms of addressing problems, but are not going to be politically palatable. And it's exactly what happened with the Climate Change Assembly in France.
Yeah, that's true. Eventually, you spin that wheel and give somebody political power temporarily because they've been drafted into government positions for a deliberative body forced out of random selection of the public. Eventually, you're going to land on a Himmler, and you're just going to have to ride it out, I guess.
Where Macron, in response to the Yellow Vest revolutionaries, essentially said, okay, we're going to have this big democratic assembly. I'm going to allow for deliberative democracy to flourish. We're going to have this experiment, and I'm going to take on any recommendations they give. And so I had this over year-long assembly. They gave, I think, over recommendations. These were very broad-ranging, and in the eyes of most experts, very effective and very kind of well-crafted. And Macron, I think, accepts just a handful of them. And that's quite clearly because he knows they're going to be effective. And unfortunately, usually when it comes to addressing...
Is that why? Or because it changes the entire structure of the French economy forever? Because it's a takeover by ideologues from another country, essentially.
Global catastrophes, effective means challenging power. So, in short, I think we really need two things. We need to have...
No, it doesn't. It means seizing power. Just giving the suggestions doesn't mean they all get implemented. Again... What does this have to do with an existential crisis?
Much more direct protests and confrontation and struggle. But on top of that, we also need to know the leverage points. In this case, it's not trying to address things by issue basis. It's really trying to get towards changing how democracy is conducted. And I think the two big things which can actually unify people rather than divide them are A, deliberative democracy, actually saying, look, as citizens, you should have a direct say in how policies are crafted. You shouldn't just simply hand over.
Well, you do. We have, they post bills and the citizenry can write in and say what their suggestions are. That doesn't mean you get to override what the bill says because 10 or 15 of you. We don't have, tyranny by minority either. That's what the deliberative part means.
The keys to a representative every 4 years who you have, very limited options for in the first place.
Appreciate it.
And B, wealth inequality. Pretty much everyone across the spectrum agrees that tax evasion is abhorrent and that tax havens should be shut down.
Thanks, Mark.
Most people, when you actually, even on the far right, when you actually ask them what would be the kind of ideal distribution of wealth or income, they tend to suggest something that's radically more egalitarian, what's currently in place in places like the US or across the world. So I really do think that
an example would be necessary because that sounds like something from a Hallmark card from the Marx collection. Explain yourself.
Two key leverage points: wealth inequality and digital democracy. Those are things which can really change things. They're actually about leveling power, leveling economic.
No, they don't. And again, where's the existential crisis part? Wasn't he talking about an existential crisis? The name of this is A Big Club and You Ain't In It, How the Game is Rigged is the name of this video.
Political power, and the things that can unify rather than divide people.
Did you enjoy that from Luke Kemp? Would you like to see more videos?
No, I didn't. I thought it was a bunch of shit, mate. I thought you were blowing smoke up your own ass. I think it's a bunch of, like, navel-gazing, tit-swelling from a bunch of chicken-feathered assholes. It's the same shit you tell all the time. It's just a bunch of fucking... You might as well be Alex Jones, mate. You're like the hippie Manson Alex Jones. And I don't give a fuck what you're saying. It's a bunch of fapping, mate. You're both just jerking off. I don't know what the fuck you even said. We were addressing an existential crisis. You opened this fucking video, mate, by going, do you feel like the systems we are on, the precipice of crazy fuck world is falling apart? Well, it's because it is. No, it fucking isn't, you bastard. Lazy bullshit. Just, ugh. Now I remember why we don't look at this guy's stuff anymore. All right. There's so much stuff, though. All right. Do we go to Stank or Bannon or... Yeah, no, I'm not going back to Rudy. I feel like Stank deserves it because it's only 5 minutes long and I don't have that much time left. And Stank apparently is doing this, like, Biden 1 year review. So Biden's year one review. We didn't see it coming. Yes, we're going with Stank. The big Stank. Stankaroonie, who is still sporting... hold on. In case you haven't seen it, if you don't know his work, he was fantastic in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's basically the dude he was looking at. Like, he went in and went, give me the Christopher Lloyd. And the dip. Hold on 1 second. It's got to be a... Ew, that's a fucking crazy mask. Okay. There he is. Here's Stank's headshot from his acting days. There it is. Here's a good one. There he is. Ah! This is a shot of Stankfield on election night when Trump lost. Okay. All right, we'll get on with it. I got to get going. Let's go. Let's roll.
Right here from Joe Biden sums up his entire presidency.
The vice president said in recent days that you didn't see Delta coming, you didn't see Omicron coming. How did you get it wrong?
How did we get it wrong? Nobody saw it coming. Nobody in the whole world. Who saw it coming?
Who saw it coming? Everybody saw it coming, and he laughs there. See the
no, they didn't. If you recall, the dude you backed in the election last year said it was all going to disappear on November 4th. And the surge from Delta, what they didn't see coming and what they should have seen coming, I guess to some degree, was the absolute intransigence of Trump supporters who will not get fucking vaccinated and make up 99.999% of people who are in the hospital, sick, or dying from fucking COVID now. They're the only ones.
What he says is we didn't see it coming. They didn't see anything coming, folks. What has this administration...
Well, they definitely, I mean, he said 1.9 trillion for the rescue package, and he got that through, and then he definitely saw that coming. And then the infrastructure bill saw that coming, and of course...
Administration gotten right. What have they seen coming? In 1 year, it missed everything. Look at the chaos on the border. Stop building the wall. Welcome everyone in. They didn't see...
No one welcomed everyone in except for Republicans on Fox News regularly. If you're watching Fox News in South America, you're just seeing Republican senators day after day saying the border is open. You're not hearing that from the White House. You're not hearing that from DHS. You're not hearing it from his immigration czar, effectively.
This coming?
This year could set a record for the most migrants at the southern border.
The cartels will do anything to get drugs in every way you can imagine. Yes.
That's weird. Because I just saw an interesting story. Let's see. Let's see. This will be. This was kind of interesting. Little story. The Navy seized a boat that apparently was from Iran this week. I don't know when the last time we saw this shit happen, but it certainly wasn't under the Trump administration. That never happened. $4 million worth of heroin seized by the U.S. Navy in the Arabian Sea. All 9 crew members identified themselves as Iranian nationals, according to Commander Timothy Hawkins, a spokesperson for the U.S. Navy's Mideast-based 5th Fleet. Well, there goes. I guess I don't know how you pay. That's how you pay for ammo, right there, and that's done. United States Navy seized 849 pounds of heroin in the Arabian Sea, worth some $4 million, in a major bust by the International Maritime Operation in the region, officials said on Thursday. The USS Tempest and the USS Typhoon seized the drugs hidden around aboard a stateless fishing vessel plying Mideast waters. The International Task Force said in a statement the seizure took place on Monday. Oh, and then, let's see. Border recidivism. One of the things, whoops, here we go. Hold on. We have this one. We've seen this. Here you go. Border arrests have soared to an all-time high. New CBP data shows. Look at that. The arrests have soared. The arrests, not the number of people crossing, the number of people caught. Catching more people. U.S. authorities detained more than 1.7 million migrants across the Mexico border during the 2021 fiscal year that ended in September. Arrests by the Border Patrol soared to the highest levels ever recorded, according to unpublished U.S. Customs and Border Protection's data obtained by the Washington Post. Illegal crossings. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Look at that. Look at that number. Now, granted, it's back to 1998 numbers. This is what we're looking at. Now, what's the difference between this number and this number and this number? These are a number of migrants that were taken into custody along the U.S. border. Here. No. Okay, way down here. These are the people taken into custody in this. Now we scroll down here. Once an office began quickly on the construction on the border wall, Biden officials initially blamed earlier this year. Biden directed legislation shows the administration challenge extended far beyond Central America. Blah blah blah. Leads way down here. Second, migrants from Honduras migration. More than 1.3 migrants have been taken into custody along the border in the fiscal year between 2012 and extraordinary influx has produced a series of crises for the administration. Crossings by the Central American groups overwhelmed U.S. agents this summer. In September, a sudden arrival of all these people. Back Biden's candidacy, or let's see. Here we go. Look at this. Way down at the bottom of the article. The expulsions have led to a significant increase. Here you go. The Biden administration has responded to criticisms of the arrest numbers by noting that it continues to use the Title 42 public health policy to rapidly expel most adult border crossers to Mexico or their home countries. They're not even processing them. Unless you put an asylum claim forward or they think you have one, they just either send you back to Mexico if that's where you're from, or they fly you back to your home country. Ask a lot of the Haitians who were sent back to Haiti. Of the 1.7 million detained during the 2021 fiscal year, 61% were expelled under Title 42. The expulsions have led to a significant increase in repeat crossing attempts by migrants who are turned back. So the number of distinct individuals taken into custody is lower than the number of arrests recorded. There you go. Recidivism rates have exceeded 25% in recent months, wait, what was this? Twice as high as in previous years, according to CBP. These are people who are caught twice. Same person counted twice. Now let's go back up to this chart that we were looking at that everybody's sourcing. 60% of the people who are expelled are sent out right again. That's about right about this part of the number right here. And then a bunch of them, they're sent back all the way to their home country and that kind of stuff. And then this stack of people right here, from about this section right here, they try to come back in. And that's this, folks. That's this group. That's it. Biden didn't expect the border crisis after stopping wall construction. Now, I don't know why. It was 4 more weeks, the wall would have worked, but it just didn't work for shit.
We see it coming through the border.
Since Thursday, more than 5,000 people have crossed over from Mexico into Yuma. They come from a number of countries.
Would you have tried to do this when Donald Trump was president?
Definitely not.
So did you come here because Joe Biden was elected president?
Basically.
Absent presidential leadership.
Basically, I was told by Ted Cruz that it was going to be cool.
And this is an issue he seems allergic to discussing. It's going to be a problem for this country that just persists for too long.
I mean, he didn't see that coming. I don't mean to laugh.
I mean, who would have thought that Trump would build 500 miles of wall and none of it would work at all?
It's
none of it works.
Problem.
It made it worse. How do you build 500 miles of wall and it's easier to get through the border? Because it's not like the Customs and Border Patrol are not arresting people.
But he sees nothing coming. Apparently when Joe Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline, right? Remember that? When he stopped issuing...
Yeah, you mean the Canadian shale oil pipeline that wasn't actually in effect? And just like the other Canadian pipeline that leaks oil into our Great Lakes, doesn't actually benefit the United States. It simply gets Canadian oil to market over our land. Like, why? They can't run a fucking pipeline to their own coast? Now, why wouldn't they want to do that? Oh, because it's toxic and dangerous and an environmental hazard for their farmlands and their aquifers, but they can run it across ours, and we're supposed to like salute it and raise an American flag? Are you out of your fucking mind? I love my Canadian brothers and sisters, but no.
Permits to drill for oil and gas on federal land when he rolled back every move President Trump made to make us energy independent. He didn't see high gas.
Well, no, he didn't actually. There's the drilling leases are still going through because they were already in place, and Anwar wasn't producing yet and wasn't even guaranteed to produce. People think there's oil in there. That doesn't mean it's useful. Doesn't mean it's profitable to get out of there. Right? That wasn't. I'm sorry. Did they turn off a spigot in Anwar? No. Would they have gotten oil into the market anytime in the next 5 years with Anwar? No. Same thing with Keystone. The fuck does that have to do? That's available oil on the market, arguably swifter driving down the price of oil they're selling to other countries. We're not buying it from them. So it's just going to Europe?
Prices
across our land?
Nope. He didn't see it coming.
Hours a week in gas is very taxing.
Man, they're high, really high, man. I know it's California, but these are some really high gas prices.
I can't do this anymore.
Gas prices jumping to their highest level in 7 years.
I mean, these are...
Oh, yeah. The highest level in 7 years. Lower than they were 7 years ago. But...
numbers that really quantify the gut punch for American consumers.
Tonight, gas prices projected to reach nearly $4 a gallon by Memorial Day.
Yeah, you're not putting the current ones up, Stank? I mean, it's December. You got a couple of days left. It's the year in review. Why don't you film yourself getting gas?
$4 a gallon. Can someone say arm and leg? That's the price of gas right now. Giving up an arm and a leg for it. Oh, folks, there's also Afghanistan. On this program...
Oh, yeah, we're out. Yeah, we've been out for months.
I told you Kabul would fall within 2 days of America pulling out. Guess what? It did.
Yeah, so what? It was going to fall no matter when we left within 2 days. That was the point. We were holding it up for nothing.
But Team Biden apparently didn't see that coming either.
Thank you, Ryan. Eventually.
Remember this?
The jury is still out, but the likelihood there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely.
Yeah, that's because it was during the process where we still had people in country, Stank, and you don't leave your people there and go, yeah, probably, fuck, if I was them, I'd be running for the exits because there's no way they don't take the place. Of course you're selling that. And you're also talking to the president and going, look, we gave you all the guns, we gave you all the helicopters and stuff you need. Fucking fight back. Run the goddamn country because we're out.
I saw it coming. He didn't.
Yeah, but he's the president. He doesn't come out and just go, yeah, no, it sucks. I don't know what the fuck we were doing there anyways. I thought Trump was going to have us out 3 years ago. It's in my fucking lap. But I got to get my people out, and there's still a functioning Afghan government right now. And if I just come in and say, fuck, they're done. I mean, have you seen these assholes? I mean, we've been training them for years, but they can't fight for shit. I would doubt it if it took them, a day and a half to take the whole fucking joint. Do you think our people would be safe getting out of the country over the next month and a half? Because that's what was happening when that came down.
It coming now, the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS are all vying for complete control of Afghanistan, but
so fucking what? Not our country. We did our best to help them with a fledgling democracy. They were actually voting for a while, but in the last election, less than 4 million people out of the 20 million that were eligible to vote voted in the election. We can't make them care about it. And we can't put our soldiers between, on one side of a civil war. We've known this for a decade. What's the whole, then if you're going to bring this shit up, make the case for staying one more fucking day. One more fucking day. Other than evacuating every Afghan that wants to leave to the United States. Now, who thinks Newsmax is for that?
Joe Biden, no, didn't see it coming. You see, folks.
No, he didn't say it coming. That's what it was. They knew what was going on. They knew it was going to be rough. That's why he wasn't going to stick around. He knew it was a waste of fucking time. That's why he pulled the plug as soon as he came in. We're out. We're getting out. They added 3 months so they could arrange, because the Trump administration had done none of the work. If they'd have done any of the SIV work, none of those soldiers would have died. But the Trump administration never intended to fucking leave. It was always a lie. They were always going to stay.
The man is clueless.
Thank you for that, Luis.
He's inept, and he is unable to comprehend what is going on around him. He is a national security.
See, it's weird, though, dude, because the goal has been, Trump ran on getting us out of Afghanistan, and he fucking did. Biden got us out. Does it suck? Yeah. Is it bad? Yeah. Was it hard? Yeah. Because it was always going to be hard. It was always going to be deadly. It was always going to be dangerous. Because there was no there.
Risk. My favorite proof of all of this came over the Christmas break. The Let's Go Brandon prank phone call.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't see a right-winger maggot being an offensive bastard on a Christmas call. Why wouldn't you expect a regular viewer of Newsmax to basically respond to Merry Christmas with "fuck you"?
Well, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Well, yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Yeah, he was kidding. He doesn't care. Like, he throws him back. The same way he does with Ducey. He doesn't care.
I mean, let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Yeah, doesn't he know he's supposed to be heartbroken? Doesn't he know he's supposed to break as a human being when you throw that at him? Doesn't he know he's supposed to fall apart when you say that? We're supposed to say that, and he's supposed to be all sad and look like Trump at a fucking football game. Here you go. There you go. Let's see. Or is it? It was baseball, wasn't it? I guess lock him up was the Let's Go Brandon of 2019. Look at her. Look at the two of them. Like, they think it's hilarious, I guess, but these two are like, well, see, that's what Biden was supposed to do. Biden was supposed to hear the boos from this one fucko on a Christmas call who couldn't not be a prick. And he was supposed to go, when the guy, let's go Brandon, home. And when he's like, yeah, let's go Brandon, I agree. Like, he's like, God damn it! Why can't he be me? I don't understand. Why is he not? Oh, sorry, cued the other video. I'm almost done. I'm good. Thank you for the heads up. We're a couple of seconds away.
Do you understand what that means? I guess not.
Yes, he just doesn't care, Stank. He doesn't fucking care. He does the same shit with Ducey, and he makes these kind of jokes all the time. He deals with it constantly. He doesn't fucking care. Dude lost his wife and daughter when he was first sworn in for office years ago. He's been through some shit. This kind of petty bullshit is not the thing that kicks him off. It isn't.
Do you see what I mean here? He didn't.
No, I do not. I'm curious, where are your viewers from, Mr. Q? Mostly the US and Canada, obviously. Australia, and Northern Europe. These are the main areas. I don't have as many Germans and French people as I would like. Pardon. I don't know what to do. Je parle français. Parce que...
See that coming either. The list goes on and on.
That's not a list, fucko. Inflation from the fact that we've been through a pandemic and there's shock right now in the system, or the price of gas that was negative 30 last year, going up 58% when it was in the negative last year. If once we started driving again and they tried to make up for the profits lost last year, because oil companies are notoriously nationalistic and protective of people's pocketbooks.
Remember this one? He promised his radical followers he'd get that massive $5 trillion spending package I call Build Back Broke passed. But Joe...
It's very clever. I think we're make America communist is what Rudy was saying. It's adorable. Maybe you should call Trump. He's probably got a cute nickname for it, like the Unselect Committee or something.
Biden didn't see Joe Manchin coming either. The occupier of the White House has zero foresight. Today we face...
Really? Because if the whole bill had been one bill, none of it would have gotten through. But he split it up into two bills. They ran them through the voting process together, but you can't guarantee the votes from other people because they have a say. It's democracy. And he got his infrastructure bill passed. He didn't lose his infrastructure bill because he tethered it to the other one. Even though he definitely wants both through, he also was pragmatic enough to know that just because you can get one part of it through reconciliation, the other part doesn't go through reconciliation, you're never going to get 60 fucking votes for the big full $3.5 trillion package. You're not fucking going to do it. It's not going to happen. And he got it done. Oh, right, the infrastructure plan. That's
Russia,
right, Maddie.
becoming bolder and bolder as it amasses more troops on the Ukrainian border.
Yeah, they're building playgrounds. We're fucked.
We see China becoming a dangerous provocateur. It just created a hypersonic ballistic missile system built solely, I promise you this, to attack the United States if they wanted to. But Joe Biden, nope.
Well, no, actually, to attack Japan, India, largely. I mean, India is the main attack point for them, and possibly the United States. But then that brings the entire world against them, and they know better than to do that. And who gives a shit? And the only thing these things will be good for is EMPs. There's no way they're going to launch a nuke in them because we have them too. We've had them for a long time. I mean, if you don't think we have these fucking things? We've had them for a while. Fucking Trump literally named them. Where is it?
Hydrosonic. Yeah. I call it super duper.
He's seen them. He mentioned them. They were top secret at the time.
Didn't see any of that coming. And forget.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. What would prove to you that he saw it coming? That we preemptively struck China and bombed them? What's the answer? Again, this kind of floating like, if you'd have seen it coming and he'd have done this, done what? I don't know, something.
About inflation.
Yes, that's right, Sailor Moon. He would attack the Quad. China would attack the Quad actors before us.
Biden didn't see the supply chain crisis coming either, apparently. He didn't see the cost of everything skyrocket.
Well, everything didn't skyrocket. And if you'll notice, you can't run supply chain shit when the food looks like this. Look, there's just no food. There's none. I don't know where we're going to get any.
Coming, and he apparently didn't see his plummeting approval ratings coming either. Yes.
Or, just like Let's Go Brandon, he doesn't give a fuck.
Biden's mantra now is, we didn't see it coming. Sadly, everything about this administration, we did see coming. In fact, Well, that's unfair, Stankfield, because every time Trump's around, you see coming. It must be just your vantage point. Predicted it all, and the Biden presidential flop now is a total reality. This comment,
by the way, for the record, Stankfield is a dry-voiced Christopher Lloyd-looking version of Judge Jeanine at this point. There is almost the content of his show and his monologues is almost entirely indistinguishable from her monologues. If you notice, it's like they have the same writers. It's like they're cut and pasting these shows and kind of patching the schedule to fight against Fox. And Stank has found himself like doing the Judge Jeanine storylines. Yeah, sadly for Newsmax, Biden won. I don't know. It's probably better for their bottom line. Anyways, all right, hold on. I got to get going, guys. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. I will be on in the morning and in the afternoon tomorrow. 9 a.m. show for the morning show, Hal Sparks Mornings, Megaworldwide. And then, of course, in the afternoon, I will be doing the irregular show. And I know I'm bumming some people out when I tell you the world's not going to end. But it's not. It's going to keep spinning, and we're going to keep winning. And this is one of those places where we are people who love actual progress, and actual liberal ideals and actual democracy. And everybody else can fuck off. Anyways, I adore you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for becoming patrons if you've thought about it or if you want to. Patreon.com/HalSparks. In January, it's a great time to become an annual subscriber. You can just, do a one-time gift and on Patreon and become a patron. When I'm doing live shows again, you get to bring, even at the base level, you get to bring a guest for free to any of my shows when I'm in your area. That's just my gift to you. So it kind of pays for itself with just a couple of shows. And if I don't come to your area, I will post videos or live stream them so that you guys can watch them and the like. And then we're arranging this now, but when we do Sexy Liberal shows in the spring, I will be, as best I can, without stepping on the rest of the show, doing a second show of my own the night before or the night after. I just don't want to step on ticket sales at all for the Sexy Liberal show. And that show is obviously different. It's specific material-wise. My regular stand-up show is not so much political as socio-political. So I'm doing a Midwestern goodbye. That's not the important part, but I will be adding shows to that. In those shows, all patrons will go for free with a guest as well. So I will let you guys know when those start coming in, and I appreciate it. We are trying to, my next big goal, since we were able to add a producer last year, and having CSL on board, and I salute you, my brother, has been a godsend and a joy, and I can't wait till we can do it in a studio together, doing a show. That would be fantastic. The next goal is adding a little bit of publicity, which is an expense. It's one of the bigger ones. I have committed to going ahead and doing that because it's the only way I'm going to grow this show in less than 5 years to the numbers that I want it to be. So I've committed to that in the new year. So if anybody can contribute to the show, that's where the next big goal will go. And of course, keeping our stuff up to date and gear and all that kind of stuff. But the main one will be getting a publicist for the show and pushing us into that next realm. Because without that, it's a little group has always been and always will until the end. Hello, hello.